Well, hey, folks. Yep, it is me, Pacific. Wait for this thing to set up here. Think we're on. Okay. Been having some audio difficulties. You may have to turn your volume down. Maybe I have to push it further away from me. When you play it back, it sounds like I'm shouting and I'm not. Something's happened to YouTube. It could be the device that I'm using, but it's been a long time. And I think that it's long overdue for me to vitamin capsulize my opinion, my reasons, and what I believe is the truth about Caucasian women, specifically white women. Now, I'm using America as the backdrop. I could bring in Canada, Australia, the UK. I have lived in Asia. I have lived in the Black South. And when I say the Black South, where I live in an area and an area of the city that I live in, and in my workplace, I am the minority. And I have watched Black women. I have watched white women. I have watched Asian women living in Hong Kong, spending some time in the Philippines, spending a lot of time really getting into Asian culture. And what I'm going to say is my opinion. A lot of women will totally disagree with this. That stands to reason. Let me first say that this is 2022. And the things that I'm going to say are not politically correct. The things that I say are not going to be gracious. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to mince words. Unfortunately, because of the way social media is today, I have to couch my words carefully. Not always easy to do. I was adopted. I was adopted by a woman, a white woman, white family. And without getting too personal and getting off on rabbit trails, my mother, I was never able to measure up to her expectations. I was a hard child to raise in her eyes. I was energetic. I was not her DNA. There's a book, excuse me, some allergies today, so bear with me. There's a book written called The Incompatibility of Men and Women. Don't remember the author. It was a little paperback that I had years ago, and when I was moving on, I dispensed with it. I wish I'd held on to it. It had a lot of psychology and stuff, and psychology is very subjective, I know, but it had a lot of things that I really liked. And it talked about specifically in American culture with the public education system and even in churches that from kind of the 60s on up, we've been dominated by females, that women have dominated the education system. And many women are not familiar with or understand the reality that men and women are not the same. Feminism teaches that women can do what men can do. In fact, they say that they can do it better. They want to compete against the male in every arena, from wrestling to fighting to sports to auto mechanics to whatever. I'm not going to get into my opinion on where women should be. Okay, role part. I'm just going to talk about the American dynamics of what I've grown up with. I'm in my 50s, and I've been married a few times. And I left all of those marriages, okay? Let me make that crystal clear. 2 of them were to white women. 1 was to a Filipino in Asia. Growing up, my grandmother had hanging on her in her home. Women's faults are many, but men have only 2, everything they say and everything to do. You look at the divorce statistics within the continental United States, which is about 50%. And the same is true even in Christian marriages. So it doesn't matter secular or sacred, they both have their problems. But I have analyzed this. I've analyzed myself. Caveat, I don't think I'm perfect. I do not walk on water except when I lived in northern Minnesota in the wintertime and it was frozen solid, okay? I'm a sinful man, just like you and everybody else is. And of course, now we got people listening and go, well, I'm not a sinner, please. Okay, don't get caught up in the little gnats in the forest, okay? Let's go with the main focus here. Why Caucasian women are not good to date, mate, have relationships with. I have worked in workplaces that have been dominated by white females. I have been in a school system that was dominated by white females. My current place of employment is dominated by Black females. I'm going to stop right here and say something. Black women have qualities that white women do not have. That may shock you. But I am greeted by Black women daily by my first, Mr., my last name, how are you? And they are actually asking because they care. The sincerity level of Black women towards me has been 1,000 times more notable. Even with all this racial issues in the media stirring the racial pot, I would rather be around African American women than white females any day. I would rather be around Asian females than Caucasian females. The scars, the hurt, the stuff that I have been subject to growing up in a white society. And no, I'm not apologizing for my whiteness. Please do not misunderstand that. I cannot help the skin that I was born in. But Caucasian females, in my opinion, I haven't done a study on this, but observing, living in the culture at large, seem to have more bipolar and more mental disturbances and mental issues than any other ethnic group of women out there. I mean, when we talked about 2020 dawning in the pandemic, the term Karens was not talking about Asians. It was not talking about Black women. It was directly to Caucasian females that can't mind their own business and feel the need to control and tell everybody else what to do. Getting up in people's faces because they don't have a mask, okay? You're getting up in some man's face in a store that doesn't have a mask, even though the store didn't have a rule that you have to wear a mask. And you're going to film the guy and get within his face and confront the guy. And the guy's going, man, you're in my personal space. If you're so worried about catching this, why are you right next to me? Where's your 6 feet? I grew up seeing the vindictive untrustworthiness of white females. They're very good at being superficial. They're being very good at being plastic, fake. To pull one of my old sayings from the past, my personal phraseology that I manufactured and coined to myself, more plastic in white females than a Chinese toy factory. How you doing? I'm doing good. Okay. Child-directed speech dominates the business world of women, dominates the classroom of white women. I notice if I look a Black woman in the eye, now, there's always bad apples in every bunch. But if a Black woman looks at me and I look at her and I say, hello, hi, how are you? If I engage with most Black women, they come alive because I recognize them. If a white woman is walking towards me in a grocery store or any public venue and looks at me and I smile, I get nothing in return. This is the norm. White women will play games that black women and Asian women will not play. I'll be moving quickly down an aisle in a store on the right, got my cart, I'm on a mission. Any normal human being would see me. They're coming down an aisle. White women will turn that cart sideways, block the aisle, put all themselves right in the way, and stand there and look at me as I'm coming like a freight train. White women look for a confrontation. They're combative. They're always waiting for you to whatever so they can get into it with you. And what I learned to do when I was in Colorado years ago, because white women are a special breed of crazy out there, is I would hug the right, and I drive big vehicles, trucks and buses, and I could certainly govern a shopping cart and know that I got this much room on either side, and I pick up my pace, I stand up straight, and I whiz through there. I love doing that. I like doing that. I don't say, excuse me. I don't say anything. I don't hit her. I'm not going to hit her. And you'll hear her go, oh, jeez. I try to use decorum. But I'll just mumble, well, get the hell out of the way. You saw me coming. I won't even look. I'll keep on going. White women tend to be more slut-teasy. They like to dress provocatively, even though they have no sexuality anymore. They're passionless. They get more excitement out of a damn dog. They get more excitement out of damn Starbucks, $5 coffee, an SUV. Their boring clothes at Target, Ross, or Christopher and Banks. White women don't know how to dress. Black women do. Asian women do. It just amazes me. White women have the highest amount of arrogance per capita in this country of any female I know. If a man talks to them or looks at them in any way, they automatically assume that he wants to get down her pants. They couldn't be further from the truth. White women have a belief that they're never wrong. White women have a less frequency of admitting wrong to a man than black women or white women. Asian women. This is by my experiences. This has been my watching. This has been by listening to males and females. And I have many white women friends over the years. I still have some. But my friendship to non-white women is higher with blacks and Asians. I have friends in Zambia, in Kenya, Nigeria. I have friends in Thailand, the Philippines. And you know what I found? There's a sweetness, there's a femininity, there's a sexuality that exists with these women that no longer exist over here. It's a shame that we live in a world that's being dominated by these kind of women. I'll hold up people like Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton. Take a look at those two. Power hungry, a gross inability to ever admit any wrongdoing on their part. White female actresses, so full of themselves. I go to a nightclub Fridays and Saturdays downtown, and there's a white woman that has no interest in anybody, but she's very interested in herself. She dresses in slut tease attire, gets up there and dances. Any guy tries to dance with her or get close, she'll pivot and move. She'll hold up her phone, and she loves to dance and stare at herself in the mirror on the wall, in the video. Social media has been the high octane boost that white women needed to create an almost temple atmosphere of themselves and put themselves out here. as some form of deity, goddess. Look at me. Look at my dog. Look at the food I gave my dog. Pornography is turning the corner more and more to where you see a woman kissing the dog licking her vagina, her having sex with the dog. This isn't Black women. This isn't Asian women. This is Caucasian females are involved in this. And Caucasian females seem to be very interested in thug culture men that are in prison, men that are in trouble with the law, men that are bad boys. They're not interested in nice guys unless you got a big fat bank account. White women have virtually nothing to offer the average American male. Now, there are American men that would take issue with what I say. Well, that's okay. Not all women are like this, but the majority of white females have nothing to offer. Our society has transformed so much. When's the last time you've heard of a white female massaging her husband out of the goodness of her heart? How many percentile-wise against the ones that don't actually cook a home-cooked meal for their man? How many of them are satisfied to live within their means? I have found that Caucasian females are one-dimensional. They like to brag that they can multitask. They like to state, you don't know me. I know them. I've watched them. It doesn't matter if I go to New England. It doesn't matter if I go to California, the Pacific Northwest, the Southwest, or the Southeast United States. It doesn't matter if I'm overseas in Hong Kong. When I was in Hong Kong, we had a white woman from Michigan. Rude, unfriendly. I'm in a church with mostly Filipinos. You think she'd see a fellow American and say, hey, how? Nope. When I saw American and Australian women over there, white women, loud, obnoxious, rude. They come into the nightclub where I go to, rude, stuck on themselves. They walk in with that face that says, I'm all that on a stick. More and more white women are becoming lesbian by the day. More and more white women are turning over and just completely, they have a bad experience with a man, and they like to use phrases that are a catch-all that all men are a-holes. You know what kills me? The kind of women that I'm talking about, they're not going to flock to this. They're not going to listen to this. They deliberately and willfully avoid coming into a confrontation with the truth about themselves. They will surround themselves with like-minded people, birds of a feather flock together. They're going to stay in that superficial, shallow subculture. I watch them when they come into the bar. Drink in one hand, dancing in the other, taking selfies. Foolish. I find more black women will hug me when they come in. Pacific, it's good to see you. How you doing? You look beautiful. Let's bring up another strong point. White women do not tell me I'm handsome. Black women have. Asian women have. White women don't really give me any positives at all. They just don't. And there are white women that they're what I call knee-jerk reactionaries. They'll hear something like this and go, oh my God, this guy's so dysfunctional. He's passive aggressive. He's projecting. White women like to hide behind psychobabble counsel speak. They like to come up with a clinical diagnosis of you, the man, the male. even though they're not clinical psychologists, even though they're not in the medical field, they're suddenly experts on maleness. But go up and tell a woman her faults. Do it gently and kindly and watch what happens. Do that experiment. You'll regret it. I was married to a wife for 14 years who systematically, never in the 14 years did she ever look at me and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. She would lie. She would deny. She had a degree in psychology. She was certified paralegal. And she was a licensed practical nurse. She had more schooling than I did. I just had high school. And some of the crazy and dumb things that she would do would befuddle even me. The immaturity level for her being 6 years older than me shocked the hell out of me. And she did not have a good grasp on psychology. In fact, she herself admitted that she was a psycho magnet with female friends. Virtually every female friend that she invited over to our place when we were married, I just thought, where do you find these people? I'm going to stop. I don't like to talk about her. I don't even want to go on and talk about the damage she did to my son. It still is real. And when I divorced in 2007, the revenge she got for 15 years after the fact went on and on. And white women are very vindictive. When they get mad, they will find a way to get revenge. Even ones that don't know you. I was on a group page that had to do with what I do for a living. And one woman had come on saying, you need to cut your hair. This isn't the 70s. And I said, man, I'm so tired of these Karens. I said, my hair is my style. Well, it's not professional. And you being a bitch is? Have you noticed how white women hide behind the term professional? They hide behind a college degree. And they get in their little SUV and their little car. And I've watched them in traffic. Are white women better drivers than anybody else? No, they're probably the worst on the roads. They model crazy behavior in front of their children in minivans. I've watched that women cannot follow the rules about hanging up their phone and driving. They have to text or play with their phone because they're so damn important. You listen to conversations walking through any mall of modern American white women, and you just get the feeling when you walk by them, whatever they're saying, they feel is so important that nothing else is. White women do not make good relationships. The fact that 50% of all marriages in the United States end in divorce ought to tell you something. Are you telling me that all those white men are to blame for that? Is that even mathematically possible? Is that logically possible? Now, let's go back to another thing. Women tend to be emotionally driven logic. We see this all the time. I have intimately worked with and been under women in authority as supervisors and bosses, and they make crappy leaders. I find it interesting going to the Bible here. I know not everyone shares my belief in that. But Paul says, I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over men. Now, that doesn't say children. It says men. And we have to go to work where our bosses and supervisors are females. It doesn't work. I've watched it. I've witnessed it. It knocks the balance out of balance. Men are supposed to be leaders. Men are supposed to be the heads of their homes. This feminism is not biblical and it's not healthy for society. And you hear whiny baby, crybaby women today saying, oh, we don't earn as much as men. No, you earn more. Start doing research. Women are earning more to sit there and look pretty and do nothing jobs. The damage that has been brought in American society alone because of feminism and females is self-evident. And men have been so emasculated in our society that they don't even know what the definition of macho and manhood really is anymore. They think it's one hand draped over the wheel of an SUV, a can of Coors in a hand, or a gun rack in the back window, or talking tough. And I'm going to be honest, most white males to me are that thing between your legs. They're not well adjusted. I have white male friends, but most white males, I want nothing to do with them. I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable being in a culture that's not my own because I'm left alone more and not harassed and bothered as much as if I was in my own. When it comes to YouTube, I don't get trolled by blacks. I don't get trolled by Asians. I get trolled by whites. White, insecure, keyboard warrior males that think they're tough hiding behind a monitor. We have a nation of boys and men that's grappling with this transgender thing. It all goes back to the fact that women are dominating. Women are now encouraging this. I have a feminine side, but I'm not going to change my sexuality. And I'm not going to change my pronoun from a he to a she. To my viewers, this is only the beginning. The Great Reset, as Clown up in Canada stated. You know, Justin Timberlake or Justin Bieber, I mean, Trudeau. I did that on purpose. The stage is being set. The stage is being set to bring all nations under one head of a corrupt and wicked world leader. The stage is being set every day for that book that many have not understood, that many say is not true, but oh, it is. Revelation is coming. When? I don't have the date, but the stage is being set. Our media is dogging white males. Our media is blaming white males for the lion's share of problems in the entire world. Now, I know that isn't the case. I know that reality says no. Everybody's to blame for the sin and the problems. We're all part of the problem. We can all be a part of the solution, but we usually aren't. But for women today, if you go back at a time in American history when women could marry at 14 years old, and if you were to suggest that today, women would be like, oh, men are perverts. Oh my gosh, 14? Yeah, that's how immature women have become since that time. A 14-year-old girl 100 years ago was more mature than these women are today. Now remember, wait for it. White women, they think because of their college, they think because it's 2022. Did I say 2020 in the beginning? My bad. 2022. They're not smarter. They might have more access to a body of information because of the times we're living in. But when we were an agricultural-based society, little boys weren't whacking off to porn on a computer or addicted to Wii or video games or Nintendo or PlayStations. They helped daddy on the farm milking cows. Little boys went to work. Little ladies became ladies and helped mom with the duties of cooking and the old washboard and washing the clothing. And helping with the children. Let me say something that I've stated all along, and I'm going to say it again. And I've come up with a term over the years. We have too many snow globe people in our country. Snow globe are the middle class, the comfortable, both Christian and secular females and men of our society. They got SUVs, large bank accounts, large houses. They've never done hard labor jobs. They've had pretty easy street, a lot of privilege. Yes, they worked for it, but they didn't have to work as hard as their ancestors with tilling the land, okay? They weren't out there on merchant ships in World War II. The baby boomers and the fallout from them has had it pretty easy. The snow globe culture is the quickest to be offended, the quickest to get butthurt. Women that grew up all their lives not being spanked, disciplined, here's a cell phone, here's stuff. They grow up expecting everything to be handed to them on a silver platter. Read any dating site. I got off the dating site world in 2015 and never looked back. Too many ads of women, specifically Caucasian. It always started off with the pronoun I. And good literature will tell you, don't ever start off with I. Because it always comes to selfish, self-centered. I want a man who's financially secure. Are you financially secure? Well, that doesn't matter. Oh, it does. Because what you expect in that man, you better have exactly what you're asking for. But they don't think that way. They think they can have requirements greater than the entrance requirements for an Ivy League school just to get a date. They're texting queens. They're email queens. They pride themselves on how fast they can type. Hey, can we talk? My hands are getting sore. Oh, no, I like to type. Avoidance. Non-contact. Hiding behind keyboards. Trying to write their own romance novel, so to speak. But the obsession with dogs is one of the telltale signs of a society in decline on American white female women. The obsession with dogs. Childish bumper stickers of dog paws. Dog paw footprints all over the back of expensive SUVs. It's gotten so bad I saw a doggy outline sticker on the back window of a car, and the tail sticker was on the wiper, and the tail goes like this. And I'm like, isn't that gay? I have said women that are addicted to their dogs and women that I see walking in a park, I don't look at them, I ignore them. I live in a place now where I don't see a lot of white females. In fact, it's quite rare. I work with a couple at work. I see some out and about. And guess what? They're all the same. And white women will get very angry when I say that, but I speak as one who has experience. White women are very one-dimensional. They're very predictable. They're predictable how they'll react. They're predictable how they look at the world. There's no mystique there. There's mystique to blacks. There's mystique to Asians, but not to whites. No. And women get so angry just that I have this opinion. Good looking white women don't come after me. And white women will say, oh, he's just mad because he can't get a date. Maybe that was true at a time. It's not true today. I don't want to date with y'all. I just don't. You have nothing to offer me. You give sex. You don't make love. You're not going to massage my back. You're not going to have my back. In this culture, women are raised not to have the backs of their men, but to have their lifeboat in a swung out position all the time, worrying about protecting themselves, their rights. Why do you want to live with a mate who's always ready to jump in the lifeboat and go off and leave you to sink? That's why Black women tend to be more loyal to their men than white women are. Are there Black women gold diggers? Are there Black women that are shallow? Are there Black women that are immature? Absolutely. But I find Black women out here still cook. I find Black women are very helpful to me when the chips are down, and I've had some sickness and illness and problems in the last 3+ years. They call me, they text me, they message me. Are you okay? We're praying for you. White women? They're selfish. They're selfish out there. They're selfish in the bar. And let's go on to the next issue. White women don't age well. Some Black women do. Some Asian women do. But white women, they got all that pancake makeup. They look good for a short time. And I've been attracted to white women. But they got to have all that Bondo and makeup on. And they gain weight. Lots and lots of weight. I'm shocked that wherever I go in America, they just getting bigger and bigger. And I heard something on the news today. I thought it was very, and I'm injecting my political beliefs in here at this point. I'm not a Democrat. The Democrat Party is dominated by feminists. And the men that claim to be Democrat, they're not men to me. They're wussies. Well, they'll talk tough, they'll beat up people, they'll shoot people. You know, the Democratic Party seems to, wherever they're in control, the crime is off the damn chain. That's a fact. You don't have to agree with me, but that is a fact. Look into it. Look it up. Look at every Democrat stronghold place and look at the crime level. Let's take Baltimore, Michigan, California, LA, San Francisco, Seattle. Let's take them all. Drugs, violent crime. But 50 illegals, DeSantis sent them a free one-way passage to Martha's Vineyard, which I thought was absolutely awesome. Martha's Vineyard, which votes Democrat, the Obamas are there. And some of the people I respect, Tucker Carlson, said, well, why don't you open up your home? You got 11 acres, you got a big mansion, you got room for them. And they had a white woman on there saying, we really are behind you, but you got court dates and other places, so this isn't going to really work out. If you want to know who the racist people are, and the media is not letting onto this, it's those white women that are, you know, they want illegals and people that hate our Christian faith and hate our Constitution. They want them all to flood in, but they don't want them in their backyard. They don't want them in their house. Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, you know, Black Lives Matters. Do you see them hanging out with blacks? No. No. I had told you, my viewers, years ago when I lived in Hong Kong, I was disappointed to see Asian women dyeing their hair blonde, putting on goo gobs of foundation makeup, and I said, why? We want to look like the American woman. Why? I'm going to ask you again, why? You have beautiful jet black hair, you have pretty skin, you have unique Asian eyes. I have friends in Africa. Africa and Thailand in the last 3 years have been the new influx into Facebook with wanting to get to know us. And it just shocks me. They're pretty women. They have faith in God, these African women. They don't have this attitude that they have over here. And Caucasian women don't make good relationships. If you are superficial, if you are plastic, if you give in to them, you're going to have a great time. Okay. They'll have a great time. You won't, because you have to retool yourself to accommodate them. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe men should be betas. Okay. I don't believe men should be betas and let the women rule over them like that. And our society does it all day long. Men so desperate to get a shot at the golden triangle in a woman's shorts will do anything. I'll push the stroller. I'll do whatever you want, Snookums. It's pathetic and it is wrong. Why are you dethroning yourself? Why are you emasculating yourself? Do you know why porn is so prevalent in this country? Do you know why we're the biggest producer of porn in the world? Because of white females. They say all this shit about us, but they're the biggest participants in it. And women will say all men are pigs. Now pay attention here. This is a lesson here. All men are pigs, but they're the ones putting themselves after to be pigged on. Why is there so much porn? Because there's a lack of intimacy in this country. If you've got hair loss or receding hairlines as a man, the women don't want you. If you're as blunt and direct as me and have thick glasses and you wear very casual stuff like I do, and you're not afraid to say what you need to say to these women, and I'm not going to kiss their butt, they don't want me. White females, more than any other race of females, will do everything they can to avoid a conflict or a confrontation with truth. They will heap themselves having itching ears. They will heap themselves teachers that will tell them what they want to hear. That's why the women have a problem in their relationship. They go and run to their coworkers, and all the women are going to automatically, like a bunch of hens in a hen house, take their side. And you don't see Christian women deviating from that. You don't see a godly Christian woman saying, "Hey, hold it, ladies. Hold it. Now, Rebecca, you just said all this stuff about your husband. He's not here to defend himself. And you're pouring out this stuff to all these other ladies. Should you be doing that? You need to go and get before God. And you need to go to the pastor, and you two need to sit down and have a talk with the pastor. This going around and getting all this support back here when we don't get to hear your husband's side, that's not fair to him." How many women in the white culture will do that? Shibading. I could go on for hours and hours and hours of evidence to prove the most Caucasian women in the United States are not fit for a marriage to any man. They have a higher rate of disorder, mental disorder, bipolar, depression than any other race of women. They tend to be more self-serving. They tend to be less thankful and grateful. You hold the door open for them? Nothing. You let them in traffic? Nothing. White women are less likely to let me in traffic in a commercial vehicle or my personal vehicle than are men. That's a fact. I look at women and I just start to see a sameness with every white female that crosses my path. It's like a machine in a factory. Stamp one after another. Same thing, same, slightly different look. American white women are like track homes in the 1950s, 60s. Pour the slab, put up a house. This one's going to be beige. The porch is going to be on the right. The one next door is going to be a light blue. The porch is going to be on the left. The house next to that, it's going to have the porch in the middle. Same floor plan, same everything. They might just change one feature. You might have a slender, petite woman, same fucked up brain. You might have a heavy, obese woman, same fucked up brain. Sexuality with white females is short-lived. It gets old faster. It gets old hat faster. I could have had a V8. Almost every white woman I've been with, I've had that. Oh my gosh, why did I just do this? It's like after the orgasm, you see more clearly and go, no. And people have asked me, would you date a white woman? Would you marry one? I said, I don't know if I'd marry one. I would date one. The question is how long? How long? How long would it last? Would it surpass 2 months? Most Caucasian women that I've dated will not make it past 2 months. Will not. Women think because of their college, their age. When I was in Colorado, I took care of an estate. An 87-year-old woman who was an adult toddler at almost all times. Drove her husband a drink, badgered and nagged at her husband every day. And to the trolls out there that said that I lived there for free and talking crap about these people, both of them are dead and gone. Their offspring, their sons and daughter, all said the same thing I did. They avoided coming to the house. They were glad I was there. He would not stand up to her. You know, you hear Christian men say, well, or women will say, well, the husband is the head of my house. They say that. But go over there and you'll find out who the head is, and it isn't him. Feminism has crept into the Christian faith in America. I've said this over all the years, and it still holds true today. We have cultural Christianity in the U.S., not biblical Christianity. We have churches that are catering to shallow women. 7-Eleven courses, same 7 words 11 times. Notice that white women love those superficial, trite, awful, contemporary Christian tunes. They don't like the old hymns. They don't like the depth of the men of God who wrote those hymns. A mighty fortress is our God, a bulwark never failing. They don't want to sing that stuff. Listen to the music on commercials. Listen to the music. It's the same 3 notes. It's toddler music. It's pablum music. We've seen an effectual dumbing down in the commercials. When it comes to SUVs, it's edgy, guitar, irritating grunge music that's designed to get your nerves in a wad. No credit, bad credit. We'll get you in a car. You got to have this. And then they show the guy in the gremlin with the afro and the ghetto blaster say, because you don't want to look like this guy. And women are being used to guilt us men to get it together, to buy that iPhone, to buy that SUV, to buy that overpriced McMansion, just to accommodate a bitch. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results? Einstein called that the definition of insanity, and he's absolutely bang on. Pacific loves women. Not all of them. I'm fascinated with females. But white females? When you marry them and you sign that marriage license, your life is going, it's going to be like buying that new truck. The second you sign the paperwork and sign the loan and drive it off the truck or drive it off the lot, it starts to depreciate. The minute you sign that marriage license, your marriage is going to start disintegration. Oh, come on, man. You're full of crap. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. White women, my mother cannot admit she's wrong. My mother's natural born daughter, the firstborn, cannot admit when she's wrong. My ex-wife of 14 years cannot admit she's wrong. She's still to this day. I cut her off 2 years ago. Don't call my phone. I divorced you. Son is well of age. Go away from me. Go live in your miserable existence. I don't want nothing to do with you. I kept my mouth shut while my kid was growing up because she was vindictive and a problem. You get up into my face today, I'm going to tell you everything I wanted to say all those years and didn't. But I want peace. I don't want to deal with her. I will not deal with her. And every female that she was friends with was a joke. They were a mess. And the daughters and the kids they have are a mess. It's like running the relay. They just keep passing the ugly, dirty, stinky baton. The idea that calling girls princesses, you dads need to knock that crap off. That's machismo bullshit. You're spoiling that girl. You're raising her to be up on a pedestal. And why are white women pedestalized? And I'm going to say it. When the black people say that whites are privileged, I disagree with that because I'm not privileged at all. No way. But white females, I'll agree with them on that. White females have more privilege in this society and Canada and the UK than anywhere else. Don't believe me? They're all up in the media. They make big salaries. You get a white woman with a pair of big tatas, she's going to be at the front desk of some place. Her customer service skills sucketh. But because she's got big boobs, some white guy in there is going to go, oh, yeah, she looks good at the front desk. And she can get away with being a bitch. So people say, are you angry? I've moved on with my life. My focus is different now. I have very little to do with white women. Very little to do with them. There was an event downtown last night, and it drew out all the white men and women, all dressed in the stereotypical way. The khaki shorts and the t-shirts chucked in, the soy boy man and the high maintenance, not so pretty, they were slender, but boring women. Looking at art, cruising up and down the street. I thought, I have more color and more passion in my life than they do. I'm not sorry for what I say. Pacific has been scarred by Caucasian females. Am I still smarting from that? Absolutely, because the stuff still goes on. You'd be better off dating and marrying a black woman or an Asian woman than a white girl any day. The white female will try to control you. She will force you to turn your ship in the direction she wants it to go. Men, you need to get a woman that shares your vision and your headship, not the other way around. You need to stop being dominated by female. You need to stop bowing down because they're so pretty and sucking up and transmogrifying yourself into something you are not meant to be. And I don't care what kind of labels these dames throw at you. All you do is what they say, it goes right in there. Bada boom, bada bing. They're not credible anymore. Look at a white woman when she goes to work all day. Look at a white woman when she does anything. Oh, everybody's got to, oh my God, I worked so hard today. Wow, men have been doing this for a long time, but you didn't care. Now you want us all to bow. Oh, you went to your nursing job and wore scrubs and were rude to customers all day long. And did you go to Target on your way home from work and buy boring clothing? Did you stop by Lottie's? I mean, $5? Did you cut somebody off in your SUV and feel big because you did that? And then you got your doggy on your lap? Who wants a relationship with that crap? And that's what it is, crap. Superficial, califragilistic. These women are very atrocious. Why? Why? Because you might get to suck her tit, which in 10, 20 years will be sagging in the basement anyway. Or that stubble and the smells that come out of her. Yeah. Getting involved with most white women is a hazard to you as a man. Hazard to your bank account, hazard to your peace, hazard to your dignity, your self-worth, your sanity, and your relationship with God. Don't be fooled by that. I want a man who's close to Jesus crap. I was. And that was said by immature Asian in Hong Kong. But the white women that grandstand it, I can't find a godly man. Well, that's because there's no godly women. When you got women making that thing that they're searching for some perfect man, the assumed, implied about themselves is that they're perfect. Stay away from that crap. Get off the dating sites. If you can't meet somebody in your personal world, don't blame it all on you. Realize we're living in different times. Women are rebels today. White women are proud of their rebellion. Now they want to dye their armpit hair, not only just not shave it, but they want to dye it. Now they want a man who's got a Harley and they want to be a badass and ride on the back of a bike. I mean, you want these women? I find that living as a minority in a sea of a culture that's not my own, it has its own problems. But I find that when I go onto one side of town where the white people are, I get nervous and I get uncomfortable. Oh, Mike's afraid. No, I'm not afraid. I don't want to be in their presence. I don't feel freedom when I'm in their presence. I feel oppressed. To be in white female circles is a form of slavery to me. Don't ever be involved with a white woman or any woman that can never say, I'm sorry. Don't ever be involved with a white woman who cannot look in the eye and say, I wasn't very nice to you. And men, stop bowing to their pussies. Stop it. You can do better than that. Start getting out of your box and think outside the bun, as Taco Bell used to say, and start looking at other females out there, other ethnic. And I used to believe if I changed my clothes and changed my bank and changed my hair, I've had it short, I've had it long. I've had women say, oh my gosh, look at you. You went to Christopher Banks and bought a boring blase outfit. Wee, that just enthralls me not. I don't care what you think about my hair, toots. You're not a fashion statement yourself. You don't have the inner quality and beauty of a heart. Why should I listen to you? Why? We shouldn't. You know why Paul said in the Bible, I do not permit a woman to teach or have authority over men? Now, women that are rebellious and by so-called people who claim to believe in the Bible say, well, Paul was chauvinistic. Oh, but you teach us the word of God is infallible, but now you're going to have a caveat because Paul says something because, you want to be a mangina. You want to take the red pill, the blue pill, or whatever pill it is, and you want to be a simp. You want to defend these naughty, bad, rebellious women so that you hope secretly that by doing so that they'll say, oh my gosh, you defended me. I'll give you my tits. I'll give you my pussy. You men are sick. There's something fucked up here. And just say no to these women. And the Bible says the woman was deceived first and ate of the fruit and then gave it to her husband. Women have a disposition of being gullible and easily deceived. Don't believe me? Listen to the shit that comes out of their mouth. All roads lead to Rome. My street doesn't go there. And there's no road that goes across the ocean. God helps those who help themselves. Really. There is none righteous, no, not one. There is none that seeks after God. So is man helping himself to get to God, or did God do the first act? We already know he sent his son to die because we couldn't get it straight. We couldn't follow the law. We couldn't get there. White women are queens of sayings and expressions, and their Facebook is littered with cutesy little shit. But if you actually unpack it, it's bullshit. White women are less correctable. The Bible says that we have to have a teachable spirit. White women don't have that quality at all in this culture. They'll listen to my video and they'll give you a litany of psychological disorders that they think I'm guilty of. They did it before. And why do they do it? Because they're not going to hear this out there. They're going to hear something like this and go, this guy's a fucking kook. I already know that. Their words on me are like water on duck oil. Shed and gone. Trust the actions, not the words. Watch white women. Watch them from a distance. Watch what they do. Stop being so enamored with them. Stop it. Stop it. They'd rather scream and yell about their right to their body, the ludicrousness of their faulty, flayed reasoning. Your body, the Bible says to the Christian woman, you are not your own, you're bought with a price, therefore honor God with your body. And we don't all do that. So you're not your own. It's not your body. It's not your choice. And you're forgetting something when you get pregnant. There's a living being in there. So you're saying you're all about your choice. What about the choice of the kid in there? Well, no, shut up. End of story, period. There's two lives involved. You don't get to be the God-ordained deciding factor in that child's life. And that's what abortion's about. Selfish women that open their legs. But listen to their argument. Well, what about the 10-year-old girl that was raped? The 10-year-old girl got pregnant. Okay, that's a new one. How many of that happens in contrast to the 61 million genocidal deaths authorized by the Democratic Party and white females in the continental United States. More people killed as a result of selfish, militant, angry feminist women and the Democrat Party than Adolf Hitler, Stalin, and Lenin combined. Let that sink in. I don't need to defend myself against this rabid, toxic feminism. Women have proven over and over their adoration and love for Hollywood and pop culture and flake culture and flim-flam, bric-a-brac, and all the crap they put in their houses. And everything about them is repulsive to me. They're slut teases. And I've seen this all my life. They'll talk to me. Oh, I like you. Touch, touch. You show an interest. Run like a herd of gazelles. But even if you were to net the bagged catch, what are you going to get? Good sex once? Good sex twice? You will not make love with her. White women are incapable of making love. Am I using semantics? No. I've made love and I've had sex. Caucasian women have sex. It takes a lot of work to have intimacy with a white female. In fact, too much work. And men have messaged me saying, I can't get an erection. I can't. Do you really think you have erectile dysfunction? Or do you think you just don't have a boner for that woman? Stop being hard on you and start analyzing what you're with. Because I bet you get a boner for something else. You better start paying attention to that. Why is there so much ED with white men when it comes to white women? Well, because maybe you're not getting turned on by her. Why don't you face that? It's okay to admit, she ain't ringing my chimes no more, man. There are some women I can look at them and just the mere sight of them evokes something. Isn't this fun? I haven't hung it up yet. I will one of these days. But I love this. It's cool. I watch black women dance at the nightclub. They're good. Now, I'm not into the twerking girls that are 300 pounds and back their legs up the wall and stand on their hands and shake their butt cheeks like two big pillows going in full vibrato mode. But I've watched black women come in with the old school hairdos, nice clothing, nice outfits, beautiful, and dance, and they're happy. I find more happiness in African American females. Oh, I've seen the attitudinal blacks, don't get me wrong. But I see more genuinely happy black women than I do white females in this culture. I find that very interesting. Pacific, would you date or marry a black woman? I've dated black women. I don't have a problem with it. Marriage, I'm scared of. Criteria for me to ever get married: we got to be in love with each other for a full year. She better turn me on after the end of that year. No deal. I want a woman that I can still feel that excitement for. White women, they're like a convenience store. You know, you go in there and buy that expensive caca food in there You're traveling on the road and you eat that bag of caramel glazed, coated, glopped up nuts. You're like, this is good. And then you got that bad aftertaste and that acid reflux. And white women are like that. And when you look at most white female minds, put a bunch of jumbled shit in a shoebox, marbles, some broken pieces of metal, broken pieces of glass, and shake it around. That's the way their minds work. It just that's the way white females' minds work. They think because they got a college degree, they have this assumed arrogance that, well, you don't have a college degree. And what difference does that make? Can you do what I do? Do I need to sit here and tell you what I've done in the last 3 years with my life? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to tell my YouTube friends here I'm up. Because I've learned to keep certain parts of my life closed to the general public. It's wiser. But do you know what I've done? Women grandstand. Oh, I went to work. I got credit and bought my new SUV. Wow, cool. Nice. But what are you giving to society out there? Anything? The self-importance. They think they're just because they wake up in the morning, they think, I'm here. I watched that white female dance. And I haven't been very nice. She was nice. I mean, she's given me a hug. She gave me. She doesn't anymore. I've put up some very strong body language, like, just stay away from me. I have not hit on her either. Have not. And a black friend of mine told me last night, man, there's something up. I said, dude, she's not interested in dating anybody, number one. Number two, watch her. She come here only to dance. She's impressed with her. That's it. Don't waste your time. I don't go on YouTube much. I'm on Facebook. Facebook's doing some weird shit. I did a video the other day just like this, talking, no music, no background music. Some parts of your video have been muted because of copyright infringement with music. Hey, Fuckerberg, can you review this video and tell me where there's music in it? Chuckerberg is what they're calling him now. Kind of looks the same. Those catatonic, empty eye stare. They're muting stuff. Because some of the Karens that work on Facebook, they don't like what I say. It doesn't violate any of their community standards, so now we're going to mute stuff. I'm not making this stuff up. We're living in funky times. And when I go to the nightclub, you want to know what I listen to? Now, I like some good rock. I was listening to Dire Straits, Salt and Swing the other day, listening to some good old Men at Work, Ambrosia. I listen to a lot of stuff, but I like Gap Band, the SOS Band. I like the Love Theme from Barry White. I like Yarborough and Peoples. Don't you stop it. Don't you stop. Don't stop the music. You can sing their songs. They're fun. They're fun to dance to. And you listen to a lot of white music by females. They're not playing it. Why is it that black music has more passion to it? Why is it has more sense to it? I can't believe when I got discovered, I can't believe the contribution of African American in the music scene. It's huge. It's huger than I ever realized. Now, a lot of the music today with the fuck you and the N word and all that, I don't like that. I think they were playing some song the other day where the black guy saying "suck my cock, suck my dick," and I'm like, it's time for me to go. I'm not going to involve with this. But music is everything's changing. We're just living in a degraded, denigrating society. Rude, uncouth. It's sad. And I still find myself reminiscing about the old steamships and the old interior fancy woodwork and the majesticness of an Aragon. I can't take myself from that. But I believe, and I'm closing with this, I grew up in white culture. All I looked at was white females. White females make damn good porn videos today, sadly. Lesbian porn. They don't make good wives, friends, relationships. You don't want to be in a workplace dominated by white females. I'm going to tell you that right now. As a man, you don't. If you're a soy boy, if it's a new generation of snowflakes, you fit right in. But me, I feel like society is making me extinct. A little did I realize when I went out there in society, I found myself backing myself into a corner far away from all that. If I was to go and move somewhere else to where it was all white women, I'd feel very uncomfortable. I would not like it. If I had enough money, I'd live in my house. I'd go to the store and I'd travel and I'd have nothing to do with the people there. You know that song? Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. Where's that passion today? Where is that? Vaporized. That's why I like a lot of the old music, because for a moment you can recapture something that used to be. Do I am I prejudiced? No. But you know when you touch the stove, you get burned. You don't do it again. But some of us men do it again and again when it comes to women. We get burned and we put the hand out again. You stick your fingers through the fence. Now you start. When are you going to learn? When's the last time I dated a white female? I can't remember. 5, 6, 7 years ago. When's the last time I've dated anybody? 4+ years ago. The last 3 years, Pacific's been going through the desert on a horse with no name. Literally. But sometimes it's freeing. You can clear your mind. You don't have to grind with somebody who's telling you to change this, change that, and you got to be like her and meet her approval. No, I don't. Hell, I have a hard enough time meeting God's requirements as a Christian man walking in Christian integrity. Why do we men think that we are going to change ourselves to please and win the favor of some dame? Why do we do that? Now, should we change bad habits? Of course. But I find more than anything else, women don't like my voice. They don't like my style. I don't need to change that. I don't Need to change that. I have more contentment now than I've had in years. I have a project I've been working on. I have a job to go to. Both of those consume me. And I get my 1 or 2 nights a week to go to the club and watch humanity. It's very entertaining. Very entertaining. I have 2 older friends that are engaged, black couple. We talk about politics. They're actually a conservative like I am, and we kind of laugh at all this crap on the news and go, can you believe what they said? And I like to hear old music that was good and clean. The times have changed, but I still believe God doesn't change. We change, people change, situations change. There's a song by Men at Work. They had some good stuff in the 80s. They had a couple albums I really liked, and I've been delving back into some of it. Funny, as I've gotten older, some of the songs. Last year, I had COVID. I never thought I'd get it. I thought it was all bullshit. And boy, did it kick my ass. I didn't end up in the hospital. I quarantined myself in my home. Missed 7 days of work. I don't miss work. Thank God I did, because I never call in. I had all that sick pay and then some to weather that and still get a paycheck. So 8 days of fever, lost a tremendous amount of weight for my already small size. I'd cut off all my hair because I was so dripping wet every day from 8 days of fever. I had no appetite. And then that little cough came 4 days into it where you coughing yourself awake. And when I finally get back to work, I felt like a ghost. I was barely able to function. It took months for me to come back to all 8 cylinders. I had gotten a shot. I'd gotten the one and done by Johnson. Then they pulled that. Who knows what side effects it'll bring, But that taught me something. It taught me that I'm still here. Life happens. Life's not fair. And I started to appreciate things. And because I went through that COVID, I started having more compassion for my coworkers and their various ailments. And when somebody's hurting, I get on Facebook and I'll bring a coworker and I'll say, please pray for this person. They need our prayers right now. I've learned to love the common folks around me. Even if they're different in their beliefs, their looks, their whatever. And that's been freeing to me. That I have people here that care about me that I don't have a romantic interest for. I'll call a coworker and say, what are you doing? I just got out of church. Nothing. What'd you have in mind? I said, let's go to lunch, my treat. Okay, Michael. I like to talk to people. I like to get to know them. I look at life as a classroom and people as my teachers. Living where I'm living has been rich. Seeing what I'm seeing has been very, very beneficial. Becoming human, identifying with people when they're suffering. In Caucasian female culture, you're not going to get that empathy. Last year, my whole world caved in. I'm not going to talk about it, but there were other things that came down the pike that were bad through no fault of my own. I questioned God. I questioned everything. And black coworkers called me, prayed for me, messaged me on Messenger, texted me, "You need me to bring you food? I'll get it, Michael. You need anything, call me." And I'm the kind of a person, I don't want to bother people. I got that man in me, no, I'm going to do it myself. I went out, my lawn was getting a foot high. My mower exploded on me. I was pushing it one day and the whole top came off. I'm like, what the hell? I've never had a mower do that. Called my white male friend. I said, because he has tons of lawnmowers and knows how to fix them. He goes, "Let me pick up your mower. I'll put you one together." He got it done, and I had COVID, and he brought it by. And I said, "I don't want you to get too close to me." He goes, "That's all right." He said, "You're not going to go mow the lawn." I said, "Yes." "But you're sick." I said, "But I need to get out. I've been in the house. I need to get out in the sun and move." Man, I mowed the lawn. I raked the yard. I was weak as hell, but I felt better. Sipping juice, eating little veggie chips. It was humbling. I don't, COVID showed me something that I hadn't seen. And there was a 70-year-old white woman from my church called me, and she brought me Gatorade, Alka-Seltzer Plus. She goes, "I want you to take this stuff and try it." She wasn't afraid to come down here and hand it to me. But the black women I work with, I was touched by God that people cared. We live in a society that doesn't show a lot of that. Right here, the land of the free, the home of the brave. We got a lot of venomous, hateful, rude, just sarcasm in our culture. And God had finally brought me to a place where I began to see that all my searching out there, He didn't take me where I wanted to go. He took me where He wanted me to go. And He wanted me to learn about people that were different than me. And He wanted me to see that, you know what, Michael, I love the whole world. I don't think I'm perfect. These are my opinions to those that are viewing. This is what I believe. I don't expect you to agree. A lot of changes have happened in my life. I don't engage with fools anymore. I refuse to do it. When I spot one, I keep it moving. I don't hate white women, but I don't like being around them. I don't like many aspects of the way they are. Now, maybe if I was to go to Poland or Hungary or the Baltics, I might find something pleasingly different over there. I've heard rumors that those women over there are something else. I haven't had too much experience with them in chat or social media. My bucket list is to go to Kenya or Zambia. I want to stand on the African continent. I want to be in the culture over there. I want to experience it. I feel like it's only right for me to experience the motherland. Maybe one day. I watched two different black ladies last night. The black lady with the white guy, they're both about my age, a little bit older. She get up and dance, and she's a work of art when she dances. And just absolutely confident and beautiful in her dance. Another black woman got up, very pretty woman. She had muscle tone down her arms. She was covered in sweat. That woman was getting into her dance. And the white guy that was with her, they were flawless, like perfect choreography. The way that he would hold her hand and she would go around, I was just awestruck to see the beauty of black and white together and just dancing. You see the white women get up there and they're dry humping their female friends' legs, and they just I looked at my friends. I said, this stuff. She goes, yeah, I don't like that. I said, it's just stupid. One evening there was a group of ladies, the black ladies, that came in with the cute hairstyles and the nice outfits, and they danced. They were more around my age, and I just told them, I said, I love watching you guys dance. It's just neat to see. I get up and dance, but only as I feel moved. When people that are out there dancing way better than me, I sit on the stool against the wall and watch. And I have a few female friends that wander in there. One lady's a work of art. She's beautiful. Joey Pacific, you're looking beautiful. I said, you are a work of art. We give each other an embrace. How are you? I'm doing all right. How are you? I'm good. Always good to see you. It's nice to be involved with people that don't think you're trying to get down their pants. It's nice to be involved with ladies that actually give a shit about you. And a change has happened over me. It's fun to watch that. But this is my opinion. You may or may not have had the same experience. That's great. To each their own. Me, I look at the world as it happens. I look at the world as I experience it. I look at the world as I see over and over and over the conditioned response of a group of people, aka white females. I find it interesting that even though I'm not a Democrat, not a liberal, that liberal Democrat black women are more accepting of me than white any women, conservative or liberal. The anger that resides in white women is downright scary. They hit that flashpoint right now. When I look at the face of the most white women, they look immature, they act immature, and they are. And a lot of them are bitter and unhappy. I see more happiness in black females. And you might say, well, what about Asians? I don't see too many Asians down here. When I was in the Philippines, different story. Anyways, time to get on with my events planned for the evening. Thank you for listening. I'm not here much. Once in a blue moon. Y'all have a good evening. This is Pacific signing off.